Hello and welcome to Reeves Young Safety Orientation video. My name is Philip Thomas and I serve as the Safety Director here. Let me start off by telling you a little bit about our company. Here at Reeves Young, we believe in building solid relationships first. Everything we do from 30 feet below the ground to 30 floors above is about people. Our relationships allow us to work closely with general contractors, subcontractors, and ownership groups to understand the details and skillfully plan, schedule, and execute every project. We look out for our clients' best interest, preemptively resolving concerns, and knowing that our success depends on theirs. With a focus on people, we are also able to retain a core of the leaders who place a deep thought and care into the infrastructure, landmarks, and communities we build. So what about safety? Well, safety isn't about statistics, insurance rates, or recognition. It's about people, making sure they leave as safely as they arrived. After all, we are all fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, cousins, in-laws, and friends. It is of utmost importance that the people who have the boots on the ground, hands on the wheel, and those who pass by and through our projects are safe. Reeves Young has an engaged safety committee comprised of both areas of our business, the field and project management, which creates impactful safety management solutions that keep our people safe and provide the statistics our clients expect. Now let me tell you about some of the things we are going to cover. It is important to remember that this is not an exhaustive list or a blanket recital of the OSHA standards, but an attempt to make you aware of the most commonly referenced policies you may need to know. Your roles and responsibilities. Focus 5 falls electrical, caught in between, confined space, and struck by. Accident and incident reporting. Substance abuse. Enforcement and discipline, and our policy statement. Field employees should be aware of their own safety as well as the safety of coworkers and others. They are encouraged to ask for assistance from their supervisor when unsure about how to safely perform any task. All subcontractors are required by contract to adhere to the Reeves Young safety policies in addition to OSHA regulations. Our policy is more stringent than OSHA regulations and may be more stringent than the subcontractor's policy as well. If you have a vendor on site, he or she is required to wear the same level of PPE required of you. Superintendents and foremen are required to do the following: conduct and document weekly safety meetings, ensure that PPE is available and used correctly, enforce safety rules and regulations on the job sites for all employees, workers, subcontractors, and visitors, identify concerns associated with upcoming work or upcoming changes in work conditions and direct employees in the development of safe work practices. Maintain all safety-related documentation at the job site safety station. Ensure all job site safety placards and signage are properly located and maintained. Ensure prompt medical attention for any injured employee is available. Conduct daily inspections. And make prompt corrective action to eliminate or control hazards or correct unsafe conditions. When using a ladder, you should always remember these key factors. Set extension ladders up with a solid, stable base at a 4-to-1 pitch, secured at the top and bottom and extended 3 feet above the landing. They must also be free from defects and inspected before each use. Face the ladder and maintain at least 3 points of contact. Never reach out to where your belt buckle is not within the vertical members of the ladder. Stand or sit on the top or second to top step of the ladder. Also, never straddle the top. When there's a fall exposure of 6 foot or more, the use of 100% fall protection is required. If fall protection must be disconnected in order to move to another working location, a double lanyard, retractable, or similar type of fall protection system must be utilized. This applies to all trades, regardless of the OSHA standard allowances for height. Scaffolding must be inspected and tagged daily by a competent person, must be set on and secured to mud sills, must have guardrails free from damage, must have a means of egress. Cross bracing may not be used as a ladder. Remember to always follow manufacturer's guidelines when erecting scaffolding. If there is an opening of 19 inches or an edge and guardrails are being utilized, they must meet these specifications. Top rails must be set between 39 and 45 inches and be able to withstand 200 pounds of force. Mid rails must be set at 21 inches. Toe boards must be 3.5 inches in height and not set any higher than 1/4 inches from the walking working surface and must be able to withstand 50 pounds of force. Clean up all areas every day, including but not limited to job site, vehicles, shop, office equipment, and tools. At the end of each phase of work, return all tools and excess material to its proper storage. Each employee is responsible for keeping their work areas clean. All extension cords must be a 3-wire type, designed for hard or extra hard use, protected from damage, and not fastened with staples, hung from nails, or suspended from wires. Cords must be inspected prior to use and removed from service if there is fraying, broken ground prongs, splices, cuts in the cord itself, or if it is not 12 gauge or greater. All temporary circuits used must be GFCI protected. After an energy source is shut down and confirmed by testing to be inactive, locks and danger tags identifying the person responsible for lock placement, lock removal, and re-energization must be attached to the power source in a way that prevents an unexpected energization. All excavations must have a utility locate called in at least 72 hours before any activity shall start. All utilities must be potholed or hand dug to verify location. Excavations must be inspected by a competent person and documented as such. A competent person is defined as one who is capable of identifying existing or predictable hazards in the surroundings or working conditions that are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and who has authorization to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. Competent persons must consider the following. Select the protective system for the excavation per OSHA 1926.652 or slope it 1.5 to 1. Inspect the excavation before workers enter and daily for changes in soil conditions, and check the condition of the soil restraint system, i.e. shoring or sloping, as well as immediately following any destabilizing events such as rain, partial cave-in, freeze, or thaw. Never allow employees to work in trenches with standing water. Keep water from entering an excavation or install pumps to remove water. Trenches more than 20 feet in depth require a protective system designed and/or approved by a registered professional engineer. Trench boxes must be in good condition, assembled with the manufacturer's components, and have the tabulated data for the box on site. Trench boxes should be flush to the elevation, or if used in conjunction with a slope, the toe of the slope must be 18 inches below the edge of the trench box. It is not allowable for there to be more than 2 feet from the bottom of the excavation to the bottom of the trench box. Establish a traffic pattern for construction of vehicles and equipment that will not overload the size of the excavation or shoring system, and a barricade to prevent equipment from falling into the excavation and to protect workers from fall hazards. Make sure any excavated material or other materials and equipment are at least 2 feet from the edge of the excavation. Ensure that exits from all excavations deeper than 4 feet are available at no more than 25 feet of lateral travel from any employee. Ensure that workers are not in trench boxes when it is installed, removed, or being moved, and never allow employees to work under a suspended load. Make sure adjacent structures, buildings, sidewalks, or roads are stable and will not be affected by the work or be undermined without first providing adequate underpinning or support. All confined spaces must be evaluated by a competent person for atmospheric quality before entry, and all tests shall be recorded. Inspect confined space conditions for any other hazards such as engulfment or entrapment or unguarded machinery. If air quality indicates no concerns and the entry supervisor, who has been trained as a confined space competent person, determines there are no other hazards, the entry permit will be signed by the entry supervisor, and an employee trained to recognize the hazards of confined space may enter. Regardless of a negative result, during atmospheric monitoring, a blower and/or ventilation must be used, and the entrant must wear a monitor at all times. The only rescue authorized is a non-entry rescue. A mechanical device shall be available to retrieve personnel from vertical confined spaces more than 5 feet in depth. Never operate equipment unless qualified and authorized to do so. Never overload equipment by lifting more than the rated capacity. Always operate equipment safely, driving slowly over rough roads and when making turns. Approach blind corners slowly, keep to the right, and sound the horn. Cell phones may not be used while operating equipment or while working in the field, and hands-free devices must be used when driving a company vehicle. Always give warning when you approach anyone from the rear and make sure they see you. All equipment must have a functioning backup alarm. Seat belts must be worn at all times. All cab glass must be free from distortion or cracks that interfere with the safe operation of the machine. Spotters should stand out of the overturn zone when directing dump trucks. In addition to the well-maintained clothing required, with shirts that have a minimum 4-inch sleeve, long pants, and hard-sole work boots, a Class 2 or 3 reflective vest must also be worn. Maintain all necessary traffic control, job site signage and barricades, and take measures to protect the public and yourselves. All accidents or incidents should be notified to your immediate supervisor as soon as they happen, and subcontractors must report to the superintendent. Supervisors must contact the safety manager immediately. An incident report must be filled out by the supervisor and turned into the safety manager within 24 hours of the incident. Incident reports must contain pictures, witness statements, and/or police reports when necessary, as all of these components are helpful in determining the who, what, when, where, and hows of an incident and can aid in mitigating it in the future. Reeves-Young prohibits the use, possession, distribution, or transportation of illegal drugs, alcohol, or other controlled substances that are not being taken in accordance with a prescription on company premises or on company property. Employees will be required to be subject to drug and/or alcohol testing under, but not limited to, the following conditions: applicants for employment, post-accident or post-near misses, reasonable suspicion, or randomly. Project managers, superintendents, or any employee found violating any of the safety and health policies outlined in Reeves-Young's safety program or participating in any other hazardous activity on the job site or while performing activities for the company will be subject to the following progressive discipline procedures. First violation, a verbal warning followed by an explanation and/or training. Second violation, a written warning, management review of warning followed by either suspension without pay, subject to termination. Third violation, subject to termination. Reeves-Young has a great concern for the safety and health of its employees. We recognize that the safety of our team members is a moral obligation, as well as one of the most important services we provide our clients and the community. Every employee has a responsibility to ensure their own safety, the safety of those around, and the general public. All management and supervisory personnel have the responsibility for planning safety into each work task and for preventing the occurrence of incidents and/or accidents that could lead to occupational injuries or illness. The success of this program depends on you fully joining this effort as a partnership with Reeves-Young. Our goal is to totally eliminate accidents from our operations. Consequently, the policies and procedures in this video meet and in many instances exceed OSHA minimum requirements. No manual or video can cover all situations where safety concerns may arise. If you have any questions, you are encouraged to ask your supervisor or the safety manager for clarification or assistance. Please be aware the management of Reeves-Young is prepared to take necessary actions to ensure that its safety rules and practices are enforced. Now, thank you for your time and welcome to Reeves-Young. We are built by relationship.